and create better. I'm told, I'm always told this, you can't take on the legal system because you have to have a lawyer. But everything in the legal system is lawyers. And life, LIFE, is what they're supposed to be administrating for. But they're not. So a few years ago, I came up with an idea which was co-oping. You get a great big warehouse like a supermarket, and you put all your products that you sell in there, and everyone that these truck drivers, everyone can supply it. And every month you look at the books and you divide it up in the books. It's an open book system, and it's not ripping off anyone. If you go to a supermarket, it's not an open book, and farmers, they have allage, which is a loss, so they'll go, oh, I'll buy 10 containers of tomatoes at this price. They'll say, well, there's no allage here. It's just per 10, so it's $1,000 for the 10. And then the supermarket will go, oh, we'll give you a bio-creative invoice. They're only paying 500. They're telling them that they're paying you 1,000. You're losing, you've got taxes on top of that 500 you didn't get, and you lose 500. It's a tax scam, and you're losing your product and you're losing your money. But if you actually sold it directly to public in a co-op, you'll get what it's worth. And that was proven in the COVID when Brendan Faithfull had organised people to once a week, a truck would sneak down to the farmers and pick it all up and come back down, and the farmers were getting $2 a cabbage or something, and then they would only get 25 cents from the supermarket. So if it comes to meat, I know people that was doing private have a cow, and they sold a quarter of it to 4 different people. They made money on that, and they did it privately. Hairdressers cut hair in the private. They had private members, right? David's Meat, Dave Homekill, they're all private members, hence the private trust. Then we have all the money, because a man, not a legal entity, can't have money, so hence the private trust. So when you look at food, which we're now not going to be able to get decent food very quickly. They keep telling you. And so what are we doing? We've got a perfect opportunity to be really smart here. And the more people go into the private and do everything privately, you've got a survival. And we are in survival mode now because they brought in GMO. And GMO, by the way, if GMO product hits a farmer in their world, the GMO owner can do the farmer. In our world, you've just trespassed and we're charging you. They were notified. We also said any farmer causing harm to our people born here, we're going to do you. And we mean do you as you can't have a contract that's forcing you to put something on the land which is poisoning us. We know there's products out there that will tenfold better than what you've got. And I've seen the results. And the sea salt guy with the seaweed, Simon Stott, that's phenomenal stuff, and it's cutting the value. I mean, I think it's a quarter of the price less. Like it's a quarter of the price you spend on fertilizer on sea salt and seaweed. And MPI are going out of their way, right? So, and the lawyers in these court cases are doing nothing at all. And when I went into court with Simon in Invercargill, the judge was literally horrified because I laid all the things that weren't done by the lawyers over the years, and we just popped it all in a few pieces of paper, and I'd already put the abatement into Parliament. It's when you're dealing with criminal cases, you can answer to them real easy, because I have not seen one policeman or MPI agent actually do anything properly. So if the documents are there. You just got to look at you just have to look at what you've been given, right? You just look at it, read it. Don't look at the emotion. You go, oh, this guy's an idiot. He hasn't followed the RSA. There's no candle here. They haven't followed anything. And this is the same with the COVID stuff. They never followed anything. They're just saying shit. So what we do with food is this is our solution. Is have co-ops. If you can, because I'll guarantee you, supermarkets are going to go bust soon. They won't care. They're going to go bust. There's going to be lots of buildings, isn't there? But what we've got to do is think about how we're going to get our products, what we make, out to everybody privately, and we can do that. It's been done. There's model systems that have been worked on and done, and there's no way we're that stupid that we can't sell what we're producing on a farm to people that want it. Why can't we do that? How hard is that? It's not hard. And what the incentive is, eh? This is really funny. It's no taxes. And we're also, by the way, dealing with losing. We've had a bit of success. So we can deal with the IRD properly because you've got to put your losses in. And if you want to get out of the system, you make sure your losses are recorded first. And the trust is going to accumulate the debt, right? The debt becomes a tax loss for all the businesses. Everything's a trust. So if you can just let go and realize it's us avoiding stupid people called lawyers and the legal system and doing it properly. That's all it is. And if spend some time and look at the website, but look at our money system, what we're creating. We're getting attacked heavily by the banks because of what we're doing, pretty heavily. And my office goes very hard at these people, very, very hard. And to the point where we actually physically went into Parliament to serve documents. And serving documents means it's done. It's a done deal. Serving it in Wellington, they accepted it, they stamped it. So I'm not wasting my time. But if you think we are, don't be here. If you want to grow, do something. Don't be afraid, because being afraid or have any fear, it's a waste of time now, because, whatever you've got on the farm, it's going to go. All this arguing over these so-called politicians, some of those politicians are the New Zealand Maori Council, all lawyers, all screwing us over. And South Island especially is a least. And it went back to those who are born here, not Maori, those who are born here, tangata whenua, in one word. Maori are is a legal term. And also, if you look in certain acts, 1933 or 37, Pacific Act has got the imbeciles. I'm not an imbecile. And I'm tired of being told, oh, you have to. Where does it say I have to? Anything. So, it's what we do. We need more people to see what I see. I don't know why people can't see what I see. I'm just a female that's born here. Had a couple of kids, for God's sake, getting old. And I like a glass of wine once or so often. I don't know, like a decent steak. Can't get that at the moment. So think about it, guys. If you really got to think about this. If you go back 10 years, 20 years, you were able to produce stuff, and you can't do it now. Why not? And all the rules and regulations apply to who? And yet who's selling poison? Why is there neurotoxins in the water? What duty of candor did they follow in the vaccine or any medical procedure? None. Oh, that's what I've done on Rangitikei Council's election, just so you know. And because I know how they made, I know the mistake that Bruce made, who's in Auckland. He hired a lot of lawyers on the last election, not this, but last election, and they were doing the counting of the vote. And I said, don't do that. Oh, you counted the vote. Because the Rangatiki election check is the candle, which is the sealing of the bins, who opened them, right? And if those bins were open before they got to Christchurch and they don't tell us, the election was a fraud. We have evidence to prove that, but we've just asked the candle. So with that one, you could do, because it's within the 6 months. So yeah, see? What we have recorded and what we do is what we ask. It is very serious what we do. And we do take everything we do seriously. And the court cases that I do are very serious. And we hit them with abatements. They know what they are and they don't know what to do. Abatements are only for High Court. They will try and keep it in the district court, but it has to go to the High Court because they haven't followed their job. And once you commit fraud, it reneges everything. Okay? There you go. See? So that's how my food solution.
Very good. Anyone got any questions about food? There must be lots of questions, surely.
Could I say something, Tracy?
Please do.
Go.
Who said no?
That was the one that calls no caller ID on the phone.
No, I didn't say that.
Just regarding the food, like we've got our Southern Food Club. It's been running for about 2 years, and we went to a orchardist in Waimate actually 2 years ago, and we talked to him about values and things like that to make sure that he was on our team, because it's no good if at the last minute he starts complying or capitulating with everything the government throw at him. So once we knew that he was on side, we started making up these bags every week, transporting it to Dunedin, and we had a distribution network down here that would get it out to all the people that ordered. And for the first year or two, there would be like about $1,000 worth of orders for fresh fruit and veggies. And we developed a meat supply system on top of that. It was venison, and just out of Palmerston, we found somebody that would supply us beef, and then we found honey and we found milk. And so for a couple of years, we've had pretty good coverage. I'm not saying people didn't still go to the supermarket. They obviously do, but they were getting, things there. But this last couple of months, especially with those rains, like the orchardist lost all his carrots, this is in Waimate. I think 3 weeks ago he lost all his strawberries, was it? Yeah, I think. And it was going to take him days and days. And also the orders had got down, like for vegetables, which he provides, that got down to about like $400 a week, which, if he goes to the farmer's market on a Saturday, he'll make $7,000, right? So the thing is that it's becoming glaringly obvious to me lately that we're going to have to, establish some kind of website or promote the Southern Food Club, so that it gets bigger, because it is a club and we sell to members and everybody's a member. But we have to grow it. Luckily, quite a few people have stepped up and become really proficient in this, like our pod leaders, so to speak, who get the food out to all the people that come and pick them up and take them away to their homes. Those people they've really stepped up, and I put somebody in charge of the food club a year ago, and really efficient. But what one of them said to me today was, in the next week, we're going to be going up, seeing the orchardist, and we're going to be seeing somebody in Timaru, and establishing a second line of supply, just to get everything underway for 2026. This has been working so well, in so many ways, but it can fall. Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm trying to say. It can fall. You need numbers and you need people to support it. Like I remember a year ago we were getting, the carrots don't look as good as the ones in the supermarket, and things like this. So, there's all these things that come into it. But I'm really excited about your co-op idea. Because I think that could encourage people to support it more, because they would be contributing, they would be profiting. I mean, really need to investigate that space. But I mean, we've had this working and nobody wants to let it go. And there are so many people putting their orders every week and they can't be supplied this week. Wasn't able to last week either because he just didn't have it. He was at the bloody farmers market though, selling whatever he could. So, I'm going to have to sit down with him again like I did initially, talk dollars, and say, this is what's happening with the supermarkets. Where do you stand on this whole issue? And because, like you said, they've got to be doing all right and not getting fleeced by the supermarkets and fleeced by IRD. So, it is an interesting little conversation, and we put an enormous amount of work into this, and it's still a working model, but we have to go out there and prop it up again now, get those suppliers back on board and get new members, and and we're going to have to go outside of our community to do it, and that's what I'm really saying. So we have to sell them on the idea that this is spray free or this is this, and it will never have these contaminants. So that's a conversation with the suppliers. Anyway, so I'd like to look at the co-op thing more if you have more information, because that is something that we could introduce that would really, maybe make a big difference.
Yeah, but you've already started it. Like you could, if we expand from where you are now and expand it, then there will be a demand for a building in certain areas, and it'll go from there. Remember, like Big Fresh? Remember that years ago? But that's all this is. It's just it goes from one to another. And like, look at the council. This was just something very different to what it is now. I never envisioned myself taking on. Never envisaged taking on what I've been doing in the last, wee while. But it's only because, we've all grown. I mean, you have to admit, from what we were a couple of years ago to now, it's like, it's just mind-boggling.
It
So,
is mind-boggling.
We will sell our stuff directly to our people privately.
We have to. Yeah.
There was another OIA that I changed. I think it was a GMO one, just I've done a lot. And they made a mistake in the OIA that they did originally, where they didn't put it as personal use.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've changed it and made it use the trust because it's our personal use. And that's to do with GMO. It hasn't been answered yet. It was only out a couple of weeks ago. So but that will be in the message board. So there are things that I pick up on and go, oh, we can just tweak that, like the election. But I think what we should be doing is expanding. And Chris, you just look at what we're doing on the website and get involved. You've got people in Dunedin that can get involved, and they can show what they can see what we're doing. We can match and help them through there, and your website can integrate with us, and then we'll integrate with you as well. And you know, we've just taken over a couple of businesses, just so you know. So we're taking over businesses into the trust, right?
Yep.
So we're developing as well. We're growing and growing and growing. And we need to do that because
Right.
we don't grow, we're going to stagnate and we're not going to be big. And we need to be big right now. We are actually big.
Absolutely.
No, we've got to, people don't realize that some of the members are just one of a lot. Okay.
I
But
do.
but all we got to do is just emphasize that this is going to happen and this is going to happen. So we're going to be selling our own products to ourselves. And if you want to be in on it, you need to be in the private trust. End of story.
Yeah. Okay. We'll develop that idea. I like it. And one thing I did learn is when we started up, we did get a bunch of people from outside of our so-called freedom unvaxxed community. I had a couple of doctors, some nurses and stuff. And I remember initially I'd actually run out and deliver a lot of these, vegetable bags. And I was talking to this guy and he would give me the lowdown on what was happening in the hospitals and the coercion and how he was sick of it and stuff like that. And so I think where I'm going with this is that if you increase the numbers, even through food, and start bringing them round to our way of thinking by simply wanting good food and a good life, and there's definitely the opportunity for growth here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Excuse me a minute, guys. I just want to give Lee a chance to talk. He's got his hand up. Yes, Lee.
Oh, hang on a sec. I'm just going through this local document thing. Hang on. Let me just get my.
It's a local document thing.
That's just been posted up by Greg. Hang on a sec. Oh, right. Okay. So I've just spent the last month glued to a computer writing this coffee website. I'm going to be approaching a couple of the high quality butchers in Rotorua, and do a kind of liaison with them, a dual kind of thing where they can advertise their products on my website, and I give them coffee and stuff like that. So I'm keen to get it into the into what you're talking about, but driving through Rotorua a couple of days ago, we had a bit of a protest, a bit of a GMO protest. So there's lots of people that here that are waking up to this. So that's pretty good, So yeah, cool. So yeah, I'm just going to go through this thing on Greg's water office there from local cooperative, and then I'll have a look at that. And but I also wanted to talk about you were saying about the beef. Look, beef futures have gone through the roof because there's been a cull of cattle, and because they're culling the cattle, it means that there's a supply difference between the younger calves and the elder calves, and so the elder beef, and so it takes about 30 months for this to correct. So we're going to be stuck with it for quite a while, right? And I think that's what they use, these financial instruments. So MPI, so things like MPI, they create the regulation. A small farm can't, cost per cattle can't comply. It reduces the supply, and then they start to use these financial instruments to make a profit. And I don't see why we can't do it ourselves, to be honest.
Well, actually, we can. And the other thing is with MPI, I'll give you all a heads up. The carbon credit payout, they can't pay it out. They made a mistake. Oh, they made a mistake. Indigenous pines, and what's the other one? Indigenous pines, and exotic pines. Apparently, they're all pines. And they got the calculations wrong. And they ain't paying between 2018 and 22. Multiple millions of dollars. They've also can't kill cows unless if they decide that your cows need to die just because, you can go, I'm going to check your claim. And that's why we have a science council. And this is the bee guy and every other chicken guy. Chicken guys were screwed over because of mainland poultry. Over 30 years, they mucked around with the egg prices, the chicken prices, whatever they did, right? And they rode on the backs of MPI, and MPI, the farm that got burnt down because of bird flu, was a what? So mainland poultry, they've screwed up all the chicken farmers. Now the beef and sheep farms and beef are being done over. You and the bee guys, right? No one's saying I need to check your claim. I've got in Geneva, and it was done in 2020 or 2022, several years ago, we terminated the trust and they had to come to us. And I did that in a very special position, and it has a special mark on it. So that was done and accepted in Geneva. The New Zealand's breaching the Human Rights Commissioner, breaching international law. And they have to, it was served on them as well, they have to comply, which is if a farmer goes, oh, I'll just get some scientists to check what you're saying, thanks very much. And that's it. You just have to check. Sorry, I'll do an abatement on you, and we will wait until my scientists check it within the private trust. And by the way, you don't have an ability to be here. This is private. That little bird symbol is private. They're fighting that at the moment. I don't think you guys realise the shit I go through over that. I've done a hell of a lot to go, this is private. They mock it all the time. They can't not mock it. They do whatever they do, right? I mean, I've tolerated being stalked for 2 or 3 months at the moment. So that symbol, yeah, that's brilliant. But that's what it is. It's a bird being released from the hands, breaking through a seal. Come on, guys. That's your trespass. Or, enter at your own risk. But that's what it is. It's very, very, very serious. This is a private trust. Oh, you can't do this. Actually, we can. We're born here. We're not persons. We're not people. We're not the people. We're not taxpayers, ratepayers, drivers. We're in the private. And when they did the COVID thing, they proved it more than too many times. If you're in the private, it didn't matter. I got people through the gate. I never bothered going through the border in Auckland. I got people going through because it was private. I used the computer all the information on my computer to automatically fill out all the forms for MPI. So I got all this information which wasn't quite accurate on a whole bunch of stuff. Because you use, whenever they're asking you information, you use that to dumb down the system or give whatever you want. You never give them what you don't want to give. Anyway, so yeah, it's private. We've got to push that. It's private. Non-disclosure agreement, private. And what are you going to do about it? And you're going to show me. Prove it. Talk to the attorney. And it's a system. And we can only improve on it or not. And if they go further than that, we handle it on the paper. No, we just handle it on the papers. I don't need to talk to you. I just handle it on the papers. Okay? And it's hard. Mario will tell you it's hard. Michael will tell you it's hard. Right? Alex will.
Excuse me, Tracy. What did you want to say, Mario?
About this food business, do you reckon it would be hard to get fishermen into this? I mean, the fish in the store is so expensive, and I spoke once to a fisherman and he said, oh, in the good old times we could sell the fish to the public, but then it was stopped. It's like
I don't know. Find out.
Yeah.
Just find out, because we'll do what it takes to make a deal, right? And I'm that's what you do. This is business.
Yeah.
We want fresh, decent food. Let's go source it.
Yeah.
That's all we need to do.
You could do it like you could do it like a swap meet. Like they have these swap meets for all
back
different.
in the boot. Yeah.
And like the only contract that's being fulfilled is what each two people in the contract agree to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think could do it that way.
But, you got smart people in the room. Come on. You're smart because, you come to these meetings, obviously. But you know what I mean? Because we actually have, like, if you're looking at a depression, how did you get out of the depression? Look at history, right? So we just got to go, it's an idea and it will be amazing by next week. And, within 2 weeks, we'll be buying our own fresh vegetables, fruit, meat, wherever. I mean, I get my stuff sent down from Dave's. We're looking at teaching people to do home kill again. We want people to start tanning again, doing their own wool. We've got all the resources. We're not even using them. We're burning them. And this is because the New Zealand government have said that New Zealand will not produce its own food. Jacinda said it. Oh, well, that's what it is. We've got one food resource as well. That's what she said. You all missed that. We've got one fuel source. We've got one food source. We don't have to be a part of that. And I certainly ain't. Okay? We just need to, like I said, I just want a decent steak every so often. Be really nice. Hey, Demla. There's a big circle going on there. But there's so many things. And like the medicines. Okay, so we've got another very good source coming out. And it's extremely potent. Is that the word? And very helpful towards, especially with cancers and vaccine injuries. And it's HIV, AIDS. So it's there. It just we're just dealing with government interference. And that's where it becomes very serious. So
and what about the new saliva test? They refuse to disclose what chemicals.
I know.
I emailed it and they refuse to disclose what chemicals are being used in that saliva drug test.
Yeah, I've heard.
Crazy. So you can refuse it under medical grounds, and it says that you'll get an instant $400 fine, and you can't drive your car for 12 hours. But there's no way I'm going to be putting that on my tongue, because what does it leave in your body?
I understand. So I looked at that. I looked at that yesterday, and I thought, oh shit. So you'd be going and looking at the abatements, right, and conditional acceptances. We're gonna, we can put something together, right? Because we can hold them to account. What I think personally, New Zealand's just getting rid of a lot of toxins, and they don't know how to get rid of them, and we're the waste bin. Just so you know.
Brent's got a good idea. Just go. There's their sample.
Spit on a tissue.
Well, if they want a sample, spit at them. There's their sample. What's wrong with that?
There is some rules. There was a rule somewhere. There was a law and a very obscure act. Look, I'll put it in the chat later on. I was doing it yesterday, and I just suddenly remembered there was an act that had something something to do with toxins, and you got to be it can't be harmful, and they've got to prove it before they do it. And they should have used it with the COVID thing, but I cannot think of the act. So many. Anyway,
Tracy, does it come under the Health and Safety Act in the workplace? Did it come under that?
It was obscure. It wasn't because I was looking at WorkSafe, and it popped up, and I thought, oh, I'll see if it's on this one. Hang on.
Well, it's very specific in the Crimes Act. You cannot poison people.
Yeah.
Serious crimes. And I've forgotten the actual section. I think it's 95 or something. But yeah, you can't poison people.
It's funny that they don't. But they used what they did was they used the term pandemic. And the word compulsory isn't actually a word, just so you know, it's not really anything. So it's like, you can't, but I recommend highly, do not argue with these people on the side of the road.
Yeah, even under an emergency, you cannot poison people.
I know, but you can say, look, I can't, I'll vomit, do gagging or something. I'll spit on it or something. But I haven't done enough study into it, and like I said, I did it yesterday. So I'm just trying to see if it's in here, because it's all about permission. Remember that it's not about consent.
So what's the difference between consent and permission?
Permission is granted, and consent is like a contract. CON. It's a con.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Hang on, here it is. I might find it here.
But from the way that nobody should be able to force you to give you property without your permission. I mean, the saliva, my blood, everything, my hair, everything belongs to me, and it's my property. So, I mean,
well, it actually belongs to the Law Council. You are Law Council.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm just a holder.
That includes your saliva.
Yeah. And I'm the holder of my hair. I still hold on.
Yeah.
Hang on, just
While Tracy's looking, just as an ex-fisherman, I was back there in 1980 to the 90s, where they brought in the quotas and the regulations, MPI, and they're pretty draconian regulations as to selling fish locally, and you've got to sell it to the companies. I don't know what it's like now, but I'm assuming it's pretty much the same. So it would require a fight and would require documentation to do it.
So this was the draft that I was doing. I just put it in your chat now.
There's a couple of things I've got as well.
But I've noticed that when I do anything to the police, I'm going to integrity and I'm asking them, I'm telling them to confirm that Richard Chambers has received this. Okay, because Richard Chambers isn't home, people, and nor is Mark Mitchell. They've never been home. They've got an administration team, and this is the problem. You're dealing with administration, and you're dealing with a South African administration, which is apartheid.
There's a couple of things.
You look at the history of South Africa, and Zimbabwe.
There's a couple of things I've put in the chat that someone sent from Australia, which are interesting as well. So if you want to have a look at those.
Because they've been doing it for years, haven't they? I think personally, you know, it's like everything else. I mean, I always take things very calmly, and I really don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. I just don't care anymore. I'm nearly 65. I've actually had enough of the whole system. I think the morons. And how dare you do this to me, considering what I've done in my lifetime. So that's why I do what I do. But we need to not worry about these things and deal with it on the paper. And every time it's a conversation, if you're having a conversation with a policeman on the side of the road, don't do what I did the other day.
What did you?
What did I do the other day? Shit. I got out of the car, filmed them, and checked the policeman's car.
Did you like it?
You just, I did, because I hate policemen. I'm just sick of them. But that's what I did. I filmed it. They were a bit standoffish, and then Michael tells them I'm the attorney. I don't know. I hope he didn't tell him I was my name, but oh dear God. Anyway, that was it. So it's like what it is. Police are police, and roadside testing, and regulations that's their game, and we apparently are driving on legal roads on our property, which is the land it's sitting on. So yeah, me getting out of a car and filming them straight out was really quite ridiculous, but that's what I did. There is a video floating around of me doing it, by the way. I don't know where it is.
So what was the reception like?
Oh, typical reception. Just typical. Weren't arrested, but it's just what it is. And I said to Michael, just stop it. You know, I don't, number plates and things don't bother me. I just don't care. It's not an issue. It's, you've got to get that property of yours in the private trust. You've got to get the private trust to deal with it, the attorneys to deal with it. And no one's doing that. So it just goes, not an issue. I don't care. You've got to have it in the private trust. And the private trust is dealing with it. It can't deal with the individual bits and pieces, but it can deal with it as one. And so people don't understand that. So I'm pushing bricks up a hill, and I'm thinking, why am I bothering? That's so stupid. I'm bothering with serious stuff in Parliament, High Court issues over 5 or 6 very serious ticketing and other crimes being laid on, right? One of them is so we can cure cancer, basically, which is very serious. The others are, and we have to beat them on the paper in the court over what we've done. And that's what we're doing now. Okay, and I applaud all those. Thank you very much for that help, especially Mario, because I haven't been giving him 100%. I gave him a whole lot of stuff, and then he said, "Look, it's really sis." He's like, "Yo, you made me read and panic." But the second alternative is to actually criminally charge the police. And I want to do that, but I want to do it as a bulk, a one, not individual cases. So we've got quite a few cases where policemen have beaten up people and done some horrendous things. But I've just got to let it sit, because we need to find the solution to fix it once and for all. And we've gone through hell as well as everyone else that's gone through that. Okay. Another one, Tane, as well, right? So all those people that are in the council, all the mortgage accounts, everything, they're there, right? I'm trying to get a solution that we can deal with without being just swamped. I mean, any court case you do, guys, it's a lot of money, right? So I'm trying to do this where it's not going to cost me too much money. All right, so flying to Wellington, doing the court cases is not too much money. Doing the MWLS case is a lot of money. And they've actually been stalking me, Donna and Mike Ritter, for as individuals, which is a legal term. And I've heard through Alison that Donna's doing something. I'm actually handling the fact that the judge didn't read an affidavit, and also David Shepherd breached privacy on another thing in that case. He did a lot of things wrong. And what we also did was we got the appeals court on the rack as well. Okay, but we just need to step up the game and just carry on, which I'm doing. Okay, that's all it is. It's just another step up the ladder.
Sorry to hear that you, after this case, even get harassed.
Oh, you do. This is David Shepherd does not like me at all. You know why?
No.
Because I go, David Shepherd said so. David Shepherd said we're not legal entities. That was David Shepherd that said we're not legal entities. Oh, by the way, David Shepherd said we're not legal entities.
He certainly did. That's right.
He certainly did. And the really funny thing is, MWLS is liquidated. It really is.
And do you know that David Shepherd's partner is Sarah Shepherd? She also works there. She's a partner in the business. His partner.
Oh,
Sarah Shepherd is a partner at at Cooper Rapley Law.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I thought he was too gay to be married.
Well, unless it's his sister.
Well, who knows? He's just not he's a sore loser. But the thing is, as far as my writing will be, as far as we're concerned, you're liquidated, considering this and this. But the judge didn't read the affidavit of service. Oh dear. That's criminal.
What's criminal? Criminal? I didn't get it.
The judge did not read the affidavit of service by the professional server.
Okay.
And this is where we
Yeah.
caught Ritter out.
Mm-hmm.
He was a troll. Apart from a lot of other things he did, that was the most serious. And I had to yell at Donna and say, where the hell is the affidavit of service? And no one realizes how important that was. No one. You still don't. No one gets it. Affidavit of service. I served the defendant. The man's the defendant. If you want to challenge it, you put the server on. And what we did with the server that was stalking me, gave her a document that she had to follow duty of candor. She had to prove that the documents were not of deception. And she just walked away. And I think that letter's public, so you've got anywhere you need it. Because anyone that serves are accountable for the documents they're serving. And in 99% of the time, they are deceiving. Why? Because they put the name on there and you're not the name. Okay? And it's really simple. But she walked away. She didn't bother. She stopped emailing everything, didn't she, Steve?
Yeah.
But then I got a courier package. It's got no address, no